thank you for taking time to join us in this ServiceNow training while we review time management functionality. We're going to be covering three specific things. First, how to make sure you're assigned to a ticket correctly, whether it's the assigned to individual or the additional assignee. We're going to confirm within the ticket that our time is being tracked correctly as we're doing work against it. And then we're going to check out a new workers portal that's going to give us a better view of all of the tickets, tasks, records that we may have worked throughout the week, just to make sure that when it comes time for our managers to review, we have all of the records there that we expect. So, looking at Brandon's page, the first thing we're going to do is check out a ticket that may need some updates to it. We're going to go into that ticket and we'll review the details associated to it. To confirm that Brandon is, of course, assigned to this ticket correctly, we're going to come over to our assigned to field. And this is going to be the same across any record within ServiceNow, whether it's a project task, whether it is an incident, whether it is a private task. The assigned to field is the required field, regardless of what you're working on, to make sure that you're receiving the assignment. So in this case, we see Brandon is in fact assigned to the ticket. Now, we've also added additional functionality to say, hey, if Brandon's not the only one working on this ticket, you can also add individuals as the additional assignee user to also give them credit if they have to do any work against the ticket. So now we see that both Brandon and myself, Jonathan, are assigned to this ticket. So how do we confirm then, of course, that if we update this record or if we do anything with it, that we're going to get that time worked? Let's do a quick test. I'm going to scroll down a little bit, and in the work notes, I'm going to put in test. Now, of course, we know that entering things into the work notes does not send an email out to the person who may be impacted with the incident. Additional comments will do so. So in this case, we're safe to go ahead and save by right-clicking in that gray bar. And by doing that, we get a message here. Your time card for this task has been modified with your time worked. Great. So let's scroll down to the bottom just to confirm again that we're receiving the credit that we deserve. Here we go. We have a full list of all of the entries that Brandon has made against this ticket, and of course it's documenting how long that record may have been open while he was doing his work. We'll see all of the different date entries that may have happened for. And of course, if he wanted to look at any comments that he may have done or what he may have worked on for that particular moment, he can insert them here. Now, what's most critical, because we know that Brandon is assigned, is that it applied to his time card. Again, time worked, no matter who's working on that ticket, whether they're assigned to it or not, they're always going to get a record there in that time worked category. We're going to come over to our time card, though, just to make sure that for this particular week, we're getting the appropriate credit. And here we have it. The week started this Sunday on 10/21. If we were to scroll over, we'll see all of the different entries that we just saw on our time work side, also reflected here in our time cards. So it's Friday. We just typed in a record. We've been in here for a while. We get 0.02 of an hour displayed within our time sheet. Great. So now that we've seen how to, of course, again, make sure that an individual is assigned to a ticket or they're the additional assignee person, the time associated to them is properly displayed. All right, so that's that particular record. Let's go back to our home page. Let's say that we wanted to, on a Friday or maybe a Thursday before we were ready to close out the week, get a good overview of all of the different tickets that we may have worked, just to confirm that as our managers look at our records, it's what we expect. We're going to come over to our left navigator, and we're going to type in worker portal. You don't have to type it all the way in. It kind of auto-completes for itself. Under timesheet, worker portal is what we're going to select. And a new window is then going to pop up that's going to give us a much better high-level visibility in terms of all of the different records that we have out there. This is kind of new functionality that has existed in the past. Just needed to clean up some items to make sure it made sense for everyone. So what do we have here? Across the top bar, we have a view of the different weeks as they apply to our time card. So again, based on the Sundays of each week, the records and the tasks that we may have worked on during that period of time are all going to be displayed in this column here. every single record that we're either the additional assignee person and we made an update to the record, or of course, if we're the assigned to individual and we made an update to a record, it's going to be displayed in this column. Let's go back to where we just were. So again, we're now in the week of October 21st through the 27th. If we come over here to the right, we see that it's in a state of pending. For Cone Health, that's not something that we'll need to worry about yet. This speaks to if we were going through the full submission process. For now, we just want everybody to track their time. And that's what's happening here. Under total, we can see that Brandon has put in 28.79 hours for this week, and he's good to go. If we go down into the actual body of this page, we'll then begin to see how those hours are broken out for each day. Again, this is based on him being the assigned to individual or the additional assignee individual for a record, and he made an update within that record. Monday was 5 hours, Wednesday was 4, Tuesday was 3, Thursday was about 3 hours, and Friday was about 13 hours. Something pretty cool over here is it kind of breaks it out for all of the different task types that you may have done work against, just so you have an immediate level of visibility in terms of where your work is going. This is critical for our leadership as they go about figuring out how they best need to allocate our times as projects and other needs for keeping the lights on come up. If we scroll down a little bit more, we get a great view of every single record that we may have touched within that given week of, in this case, October 21st through the 27th. We can look at it, review it, make sure we're seeing everything that we would expect. Let's say there's not a record there that we know for a fact we did work against and we want to be able to pull that in. We can come over here to add unassigned tasks to timesheets because we know we may have done work against it. And if you have that record, let's say it's an incident out there that you know you did work against, but you may not have been assigned to it correctly, you can type in that record number, pull it in, and from there, you have the ability to add it to your timesheet. And here, of course, you can break out the amount of time that you may have done within the week against it. In this case, let's just, for the sake of it, add in those 0.1s just so we can see it reflected on there. We add in that time. We come over to the right, hit that save bar, and it's there for us. Now, let's say we also see some records down here that, of course, is showing in our table here, but the time doesn't quite look right. We know that for this incident here that we just looked at, we spent a little bit more time on it. All we have to do is come over here to Friday, double click on it, and we can adjust that accordingly. Again, we type in our new values, we come over to save, and as we're doing that, we also see our time reflected as a result. And then, of course, let's say that maybe we didn't do really any work against something. We have the ability to also hit the delete button. If we needed to edit it, we could do so. Then if we also wanted to keep notes there within the record for while we're updating it, we could do so as well. And so from this portal here, you have the ability in a much more cleaner format, the ability to review all of the different task records that may be associated to you, make any updates that you need. And of course, these same times that you're seeing here will be reflected on your management reports as they continue to review. If you have any questions on how to maintain your time or to make sure your assignments are correct, do not hesitate to reach out to us if you ever find an issue. Of course, you can place a ticket within the incident module and assign it to ServiceNow administrators. Thank you. Bye.